It was finally happening. Senior year. The year everyone promised would be the best of your life. But for Sarah, it felt more like the start of a horror movie. The hallways of Northwood High buzzed with excitement, but Sarah just felt a familiar dread. Everyone else seemed to have it figured out. Their cliques, their futures. Sarah felt like she was always on the outside looking in.
I can't believe it's already senior year. Everyone seems so settled, and here I am still feeling lost.
Ms. Johnson's literature class was Sarah's lifeline. Ms. Johnson, with her bright smile and passion for words, had been Sarah's anchor. But this year, even that felt different.
Miss Johnson doesn't deserve this. She's the only one who truly cares.
Jessica, the ringleader, had always made Sarah her favourite target. This year, Jessica had her sights set on something bigger, turning everyone against Ms. Johnson.
I don't know how it started, but I can't just stand by and watch it happen. Not this year. This year, I have to do something.
The fluorescent lights of her bedroom seemed to mock Sarah's growing despair. Late one night, while scrolling through YouTube, she stumbled upon a video, The Power of Body Language. Secrets to Confidence and Control. Secrets 2.
Could this really help me? Could I actually learn to command a room?
Intrigued, Sarah hit play. The speaker, a man with piercing eyes and a commanding presence, spoke of nonverbal cues, micro-expressions, and the hidden language of the body.
This could be the answer. Maybe I can change things.
At first, Sarah was skeptical. Could she, someone who could barely make eye contact, really learn to command a room? But as the videos went on, a spark ignited within her.
I can do this. I have to do this. For me and for Miss Johnson.
She began to practice, standing tall in the mirror, meeting her own gaze with newfound confidence. The fear that had always clung to her like a shadow began to recede, replaced by a quiet determination. The whispers started subtly. A hushed conversation in the hallway, a pointed laugh during Ms. Johnson's lecture, a carefully placed rumour about favouritism in grading.
I can see it happening. The way they talk, the way they look at her. It's all part of Jessica's plan.
Jessica started by planting seeds of doubt about Ms. Johnson's teaching methods, her grading system, even her personal life. Nothing concrete, just enough to make people question, to make them look twice.
I have to do something before it's too late. Miss Johnson doesn't even see it coming.
Sarah, armed with her newfound knowledge of body language, noticed the subtle shifts in the student body. The once warm smiles directed at Ms. Johnson became strained, replaced by wary glances and hesitant greetings.
This can't go on. I have to find a way to stop them.
Sarah's heart ached for Ms. Johnson, who remained oblivious to the storm brewing around her. She continued to teach with her usual passion, her bright spirit seemingly untouched by the growing negativity. The whispers soon escalated into something more insidious, false accusations. It began with a rumour that Ms. Johnson had unfairly failed a student on a major test.
Can you believe Miss Johnson failed her? It's so unfair. She's always been biased.
The failed test paper, conveniently leaked from Ms. Johnson's gradebook, became a symbol of her supposed incompetence and unfairness.
I see through you, Jessica. This is all part of your plan.
Sarah noticed the subtle tells that betrayed Jessica's performance. The slight upturn of her lips when she thought no one was looking. The way she puffed out her chest, her body language screaming victory rather than despair.
I have to expose her. I can't let her ruin Miss Johnson's career.
Jessica, emboldened by her success, spun a web of lies that ensnared Ms. Johnson in a suffocating grip.
We all know Miss Johnson has her favourites. It's so obvious.
She even coerced other students, through a combination of threats and promises of popularity, to corroborate her claims. Those who resisted were ostracised, bullied, and labelled as teachers' pets.
This isn't right. How can they get away with this?
Sarah, witnessing the unfolding tragedy, felt a surge of anger and helplessness. She knew she had to act, but what could she? A single voice against a chorus of deceit do to stop this.
There has to be a way to stop them. I just need to find it.
The words on the screen seemed to burn into her brain. Knowledge is power, and silence empowers the oppressor. Sarah knew she could no longer remain silent. It was time to turn Jessica's own tactics against her. Sarah dove headfirst into the world of nonverbal communication, devouring books and articles on body language, micro-expressions, and persuasive techniques.
So, if someone avoids eye contact, they might be hiding something. Interesting.
Her bedroom transformed into a makeshift laboratory, with her mirror becoming her training ground. She practiced mirroring techniques, subtly mimicking the postures and gestures of others to establish rapport.
All right, hold your head high, shoulders back. Confidence is key.
She worked on projecting confidence, holding her head high, and meeting the gazes of those who tried to intimidate her.
Listen for the pauses, the changes in pitch. That's where the truth hides.
The school cafeteria, once a source of anxiety, became Sarah's observation deck. She watched Jessica and her posse, no longer with fear, but with the detached curiosity of a scientist studying a particularly fascinating species. Sarah started small, testing her newfound skills in low-stakes situations.
Actually, that's not true. Miss Johnson never said that. I was there.
The student, caught off guard by Sarah's unexpected assertiveness, stammered and retreated, their carefully rehearsed lie crumbling before their eyes.
I can do this. I can make a difference.
She started subtly challenging Jessica's narratives, planting seeds of doubt in the minds of her followers. She spoke up in class, defending Ms. Johnson's teaching methods and highlighting her passion for literature.
Let's focus on what really matters. Learning and supporting each other.
Slowly but surely, Sarah began to chip away at Jessica's carefully constructed empire, her small acts of defiance inspiring others to question the narratives they had been fed. As Sarah's confidence grew, Jessica's facade began to crack.
Her voice would tremble slightly. She fidgeted with her hair more often, and there was a fleeting look of panic in her eyes. I started noticing the subtle signs of anxiety in Jessica.
Sarah, now adept at reading the subtle cues of body language, recognized these signs for what they were: fear.
For the first time, I saw Jessica, the queen bee, as a scared and insecure girl, desperate to hold on to her power.
Sarah decided to use Jessica's own tactics against her.
I began spreading rumors, not malicious lies, but carefully crafted narratives that highlighted Jessica's insecurities and exposed her manipulative behavior.
She used her newfound knowledge of persuasion to influence others, subtly turning the tide of public opinion against Jessica. The once adoring eyes that used to follow Jessica's every move now held suspicion and even disdain.
Why are they all whispering and pointing at me?
Her carefully crafted world, built on a foundation of manipulation and fear, was crumbling around her.
Watching Jessica unravel, I felt a sense of satisfaction. It wasn't about revenge. It was about justice, about restoring balance.
Sarah had learned that power, wielded responsibly, could be a force for good.
No, you don't understand. I didn't do anything wrong.
Jessica, sensing her impending downfall, became increasingly erratic. Her attempts to regain control only served to alienate her further.
The students of Northwood High had finally woken up.
Armed with my knowledge of body language, I knew that Jessica's performance, while convincing on the surface, was riddled with inconsistencies.
I'd observed her tells, the subtle giveaways that betrayed her lies, and I had a plan.
Working with a small group of trusted classmates, Sarah gathered evidence that contradicted Jessica's claims. She retrieved security camera footage that showed Jessica approaching Ms. Johnson, not the other way around.
During a school assembly, called to address Jessica's accusations, I presented my findings with the quiet confidence of someone who had nothing to hide.
The student body, once so quick to believe Jessica's fabrications, listened in stunned silence, as Sarah dismantled her story piece by piece. The evidence was irrefutable.
Trying to interrupt. But this isn't fair. You don't understand.
Jessica's words fell on deaf ears, her face flushed with anger and humiliation as the students gasped and murmured in disbelief, realizing the extent of her deception. Section 4. The tables have turned. The fallout from Jessica's deception was swift and decisive. She became a pariah, ostracized by the same students she had once manipulated.
Jessica and her accomplices are hereby expelled from Northwood High.
Their reign of terror brought to an abrupt end.
Sarah, thank you. Your courage and loyalty have cleared my name.
Miss Johnson, her name cleared, returned to teaching.
I found my voice. Even the smallest person can make a difference.
The news of Jessica's accusations against Ms. Johnson reached the principal's office with the force of a hurricane. Principal Thompson immediately launched a formal investigation. Ms. Johnson, summoned to the principal's office, felt a mix of dread and indignation.
This can't be happening.
Jessica arrived at the principal's office with her entourage, their faces masks of concern. Sarah, watching from a distance, felt protectiveness and trepidation.
I have to do something.
Principal Thompson conducted the inquiry with precision. She interviewed Ms. Johnson, Jessica, and other students. Jessica, with practiced innocence, spun her web of lies.
I just want to make sure the truth comes out.
Ms. Johnson, though shaken, refuted each claim with dignity, but Sarah sensed the principal remained unconvinced. Despite Ms. Johnson's reputation, doubt had been planted.
This isn't fair.
Unable to bear the injustice any longer, Sarah knew she had to act. Gathering her courage, she pushed open the door to the principal's office, interrupting the interview with a quiet but firm knock. All eyes turned towards her. Jessica's smug smirk faltered for a fleeting moment as Sarah, her heart pounding in her chest, approached the principal's desk.
Principal Thompson, I have information that is relevant to this investigation.
She proceeded to present the evidence she had meticulously gathered, the security camera footage, the incriminating text messages, the testimonies of students who had witnessed Jessica's manipulative tactics. The atmosphere in the room shifted palpably as Sarah spoke. The air, thick with tension and suspicion, seemed to clear as she methodically dismantled Jessica's carefully constructed facade.
Let me see this evidence.
Principal Thompson, initially skeptical, listened intently, her sharp gaze fixed on Sarah, her expression softening as the truth began to emerge. Jessica, her face draining of colour as Sarah presented irrefutable proof of her deceit, tried in vain to interrupt, to deflect, to deny. But her words, once so persuasive, now rang hollow, drowned out by the quiet power of truth. The game was up.
This can't be happening.
The weight of the evidence was undeniable. Principal Thompson, her face a mask of disappointment and anger, addressed Jessica with a chilling calmness.
This behavior will not be tolerated at Northwood High. Your actions have consequences.
Jessica's carefully crafted facade crumbled. The whispers, the rumors, the lies, all of it had backfired spectacularly. The power she had wielded so ruthlessly, the fear she had instilled in others, evaporated in the face of truth and accountability.
But
Principal Thompson, her voice softening slightly, turned towards Ms. Johnson.
Miss Johnson, I am deeply sorry for the ordeal you have endured. Your reputation and integrity are beyond reproach. The school board will be informed of your full exoneration.
Justice, though delayed, had been served. Jessica and her accomplices, their reign of terror brought to an abrupt end, were expelled from Northwood High, their parting glances a mixture of defiance and fear. The whispers that had once followed them down the hallways were replaced by a deafening silence, the absence of their toxic presence palpable.
Thank you, Principal Thompson.
The final weeks of Sarah's senior year were a stark contrast to the turmoil that had marked the beginning. The hallways of Northwood High felt lighter, brighter, almost peaceful.
I can't believe how much has changed.
Sarah found herself at the centre of a genuine and supportive group of friends. She had discovered her voice, her strength, her capacity for leadership.
I finally feel like I belong.
At graduation, as Sarah crossed the stage to receive her diploma, her heart swelled with pride and gratitude. She had not only survived her senior year, she had thrived. As she stepped off the stage and into the bright sunshine, Sarah knew this was just the beginning.